Srimati Kamala was the third child of Srimati Kaveri and Sri Giri Prabhu, grandchild of Sri Govinda Prabhu, great-grandchild of Sri Vamana Prabhu, and great-great-grandchild of Sri Kalika Prabhu. It was the same Kalika Prabhu, an advisor to the Dutch government, who donated large tracts of land for construction of a Venkatasalapati temple at Thammanam, Ernakulam. Kamala was a child with certain sharp facial features. She was equally sharp in verbal communication also, that often left a telling impact on the listeners, a quality that made her stand apart from the rest of the kids in the family. It was that trait that enabled her effortlessly take up the leadership of the smaller kids in the family. True to a leader, she was always in the forefront in shielding them from the village or school bullies. Her mere presence was sufficient to send the right signal for those villains to keep a safe distance from the kids of Pathekka family, lest they should be roasted alive over the burning coal of verbal volleys from Kamala. Kamala was equally good in studies that helped her complete the upper primary education from the T.D.H.S school Kochi. Her parents started to scout for good grooms even as Kamala crossed the teenage stage. That finally resulted in her marriage with Sri Ramakini of Kayamkulam, belonging to a middle-class family. Sri Ramakini was tall, fair, handsome young man with some exceptional qualities. He was soft-spoken, providing the much-needed counterbalance to Srimati Kamala. He was loving, caring, and full of empathy for others, often at the cost of his own comforts. In due course, the couple had their first child, a boy, who was named as Jayanand. It was followed by two more male children, who were named as Ranganath and Divakar. As the family grew in number, Sri Ramakini and his younger brother Sri Venkadeshkini felt that it was better to move away from Kayankulam, a rural area with very limited scope for livelihood, to a place where better avenues for it might exist. After much deliberation, both the brothers with their families moved over to Kochi and got settled down opposite to Adyavunj, the Tulasithara in the north street of T.D.Temple, where a flat stone representing goddess Durga has been worshipped. It was from there the three children completed their studies in the T.D. school, while Jayanand and Divakar successfully completed the middle class education. Ranganath pursued higher education and became the first graduate in the family. Right through the childhood, all the members in the family had a special love for Ranganath, for his intellectual pursuits, which was shown the way mother and the elder brother kept their share of sweet reserved for Ranganath. Soon after settling down in Kochi, Sri Ramakini took up a job in the nearby Navanitha Krishna temple at Palace Road, Mattancherry. For Kamala, this relocation was a God-sent opportunity to be with her parental family members. It was a time the parental family was also growing in numbers and was on lookout for more hands to manage household affairs. Kamala happily chipped in with her efforts. After finishing all her morning works at home, Kamala would reach parental home by 8:30 a.m. only to be immersed with the unending works till 8 p.m. at night. She happily took upon herself the works of cooking and serving breakfast to the children before they are going to the school. After a small break, she would be busy again with the preparation of lunch for the kids as they come back from school by 1 p.m. Kamala thus became an indispensable member of the family, and the small kids loved their Aki, the elder sister, for all that she did for them. Every day after the evening games, as the twilight slowly spreads its blanket of darkness, the kids would gather around their Aki for a brief session of storytelling Of all the stories she might have told, they were never tired of listening to her one encounter with an inapichi, a spooky spirit that would steal freshly roasted doshas by inserting palms through the hole of the temporary wall made up of the mats of coconut leaves serving as kitchen wall. So annoyed was Kamala one day, she waited with a red-hot iron pan and as soon as saw the inapichi's hands, placed it firmly on it, making the inapichi withdraw its hands with a wild scream, run away and never to return. Often to the amusement of the kids, Kamala used to imitate the strange sounds made by the inapichi on her way into the darkness. By around 7:30 p.m., Sri Ramakini would come back from his place of work to pick up Kamala, and both of them would go back to their home at the North Street by 8 p.m. But more than Kamala, it were the children who eagerly waited for Sri Ramakini's arrival, even if it meant waging a war against the drooping eyelids that were trying to force sleep on them. But in that fight, the mouth-watering thoughts of Sri Ramakini, called Bhavu in Konkani by the kids, distributing the prasad he brings from the Navanita Krishna temple, specially for them, the tongue always trumped the drooping eyelids. The prasad that included some of the tastiest Gujarati sweet meats like God bobo, purna poli, puris, etc., with a lavish sprinkling of sugar, always was a great motivator for them in their fight against the drooping eyelids. On completion of education, Sri Jayanand, a born artist, was employed in a local printing press, and Sri Divakar set up his own shop on the north side of the temple Gopuram, but later in life joined Cochin Shipping Company Limited at Wellington Islands. Sri Ranganath became the first person to get a job in the bank. Sri Jayanand, lovingly called Jayannu, taught the interested children, especially the girls in the family, the art of origami, making of flowers, toys with waste cloth and paper, panjire, etc. on weekends. Sri Ranganath, lovingly called Vijannu, endeared himself to one and all with his jokes, parodies, repartee, speaking sentences the reverse way, etc. He was the trailblazer for many in the family to dream of a bank job as a career. Sri Divakar, lovingly called Babannu, was the role model and hero for the boys, much admired by them for his tall, powerful and strongly built body, though none later in life could come anywhere near to earning a pass mark in bodybuilding. Srimati Kamala was a die-hard follower of Sanatana Dharma, though she never showed it off by the temple visits, body marks, chanting of the stotras, bhajans, observance of vritas, upavasas, etc. Her commitment was more pronounced the way she reacted to the situations involving issues relating to the Dharma. Those days on weekends, Kamala, along with her eldest son Sri Jayanand, used to take the children in the family for a walk up to the south beach, with Sri Jayanand leading the pack of a dozen children. Happily marching like an army column, Sri Kamala followed them closely at the fag end with watchful eyes. One day, on such a first-time visit to the South Beach, as soon as the children's battalion reached in front of a church, Srimati Kamala passed a stern order to spit right in front of it, and the children unhesitatingly carried it out. During the trip, similar orders came from Kamala every time the group was crossing churches before they reached the South Beach, with kids carrying out each of them. Only later one of the kids asked for the reason for spitting in front of the church did Kamala reveal it with a terse reply. That fellow standing inside the church was behind the brutal torturing and killing of thousands of our ancestors in Goa, she said, referring to the statue of Jesus on the altar inside the churches. Incidentally, that was the St. Francis Church dedicated to Francis Xavier, a criminal who, masquerading as a Christian priest, led the ruthless Inquisition to convert the Hindus in general and the Gauda Saraswata Brahmins in particular of Goa into Christianity, with the open support of Vatican's Pope and the army support of the local Portuguese administration. It resulted in the exodus of all those Hindus who could survive it, who took shelter in different parts of the country as refugees. It was that criminals' mortal remains that were preserved in the Basilica of Bom Jesus in Goa, which ignorant and shameless Hindus, including some of the Gauda Saraswata Brahmins, queue up to pray for curing their petty health issues. Do they know that the person they are praying was the bloodiest and the ruthless criminal who prided himself of killing lakhs of their ancestors in Goa for their refusal to convert into Christianity in the 16th century? Thus, Kamala's message to the kids was loud and clear for them to internalize for the rest of their lives. It was a lesson in community's local history taught using the incidental approach. It was that incident that was whitewashed from the history books of India by the Maoist historians and not made available to the children of the country in the name of secularism by the ruling Congress party. It was therefore ridiculous to see the Christian church leaders and their followers passionately clamoring for strengthening secularism for the sake of unity and integrity of the country, and the ignorant Hindu masses certifying theirs as a religion of peace and love. Francis Xavier's case served as a hard evidence how a Christian priest was raised to sainthood by the Vatican, where the sole criteria seemed to be end justifying means, however murderous, crude, ruthless, unholy his acts might appear to the public. People of the country have also witnessed in the recent times how a Calcutta nun was raised to the sainthood despite all the unholy things she did and the misdeeds she indulged in and were known to the general public. That was the lesson Srimati Kamala tried to teach to the kids. Thereafter, whenever the next opportunity came for spitting in front of the churches on the way to the South Beach, all of them ensured that sufficient stuff was deposited right in front, often pulling it from deep inside the lungs to the accompaniment of a variety of strange sounds. Nay, there was a fierce competition among them to deposit the maximum stuff with the loudest of the sounds, often to the amusement and curiosity of the onlookers that included followers of the church in good numbers. Thanks to Srimati Kamala, all the kids in the family grew into die-hard followers of their dharma, proud of his rich and varied heritage.